YouTube. My name is Rachel Mayo. Welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. I'm going to be discussing how the new moon that's happening in Libra on the 16th of October is going to affect you according to your ascendant sign. The new moon is in the sign of Libra, which is the natural seventh sign of the zodiac. This house rules over marriage, our commitments, our partnerships, and all different types of committed relationships. This house also rules over our known enemy. No agreements, partnerships, or relationships, or even marriage may begin at this time. Since Libra is the natural diplomat of the zodiac, there may be some negotiations going on at this time. I'm also going to discuss Mercury Retrograde. Mercury went retrograde just recently, and he's retrograde in the sign of Scorpio at 11 degrees Scorpio. The sign of Scorpio rules over our intimate relationships, other people's money, inheritances, and our deep intimate relationship. So we can see how Mercury retrograde in the sign of Scorpio is going to bring back old relationships, old intimate relationships. They may be coming back to your life to get closure or restart a relationship. It's all up to you. If you're new to my channel and have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, It's right below this video, the red button. It's not a commitment. If you're new to my channel and have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, It's right below this video, the red button. It's not a commitment. For others, old bills may resurface and need to be paid at this time. If you are one of the lucky few, you may receive an inheritance at this time or some kind of tax return. Back to the new moon. There are squares from Saturn and Pluto at this time, and Mars is directly opposing this lunation. This is what's going to make this lunation very challenging and intense. I'm not going to go into too much details about the squares. I've discussed enough about the squares in the previous lunations. So if you're really curious, just go back to some of the previous videos I did on the full moons and new moons. This new moon is trine the North Node in Gemini. This is a harmonious aspect that supports your soul's destiny. So whatever decisions or whatever conclusions that may come up as a result of this lunation, this is where you're supposed to go. This is your destiny. This is your soul's calling. Whether the results are good or bad, this is what your soul has agreed to. This lunation is just shining a light on your path. Where alignments are so very challenging, and we've seen all these aspects play out in the media. So if you go charging and attacking people, you will be put down. That is Mars being aggressive, and Mars is retrograde at this time and has no power. So if you don't follow the rules and go about inflicting pain and hurt onto others, Saturn is dishing out his karma instantly. You will get yours. Unfortunately for some people, especially the cardinal signs, this might just be the time for you to brace for impact or just protect yourself, cover your face. This is the grand finale of whatever conflicts and arguments has been going on with the squares between Mars, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. If you can walk away from this shit show, please do so. The new moon in Libra is opposite Mars. Libra and Aries are the relationship houses. So this lunation is definitely going to be about agreements, negotiations, relationships, commitments, a marriage, and the like. The ruling planet of Libra is Venus. Venus also rules over love, relationships, the things that we value, and our money. So this full moon will involve love and money as well. Venus, the ruler of this lunation, is currently transiting the sign of Virgo. She does not like being in Virgo. Because in the sign of Virgo, Venus becomes very critical. She's not all about having fun and relaxation. She's critically looking at all the details and aspects of an agreement. So Venus in Virgo is very discerning. She can always tell who's telling the truth and who's lying to her. She's not as gullible, so she'll be able to see through deception very easily. So don't worry about your unfaithful lover coming back and you falling for his or her tricks. You're going to realize that the same way they hurt you in the past is the same way they're going to probably hurt you moving forward. So this time they really have to do some convincing, because Venus in Virgo is a smart Venus. This new moon is filled with a lot of negative aspects. So let's try and see what's positive about this new moon. Venus at 17 degrees Virgo is forming a trine to Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. She's also forming another trine to Uranus in Taurus. This is a loose grand trine. It's a loose earth grand trine. This is a harmonious aspect which can bring solid and new beginnings in those areas of those three earth sign houses. The other aspect of this new moon is that Mercury is retrograde at 11 degrees Scorpio, opposite Uranus in Taurus. Mercury in Scorpio is deep and intense. Mercury in Scorpio wants to get down and dirty and bring up whatever is hidden and whatever people do not want to talk about. So Mercury in Scorpio is going to bring up past issues about love, intimacy, and money. Scorpio is the natural 8th house of the zodiac. The 8th house is where we keep our secrets and other hidden things. So Mercury is going to be digging up our secrets. Some secrets may be revealed at this time and unexpectedly, especially since she's opposing Uranus. You're not going to expect what's going to be revealed at this time. Mercury opposite Uranus speeds up your thinking and communications, which can leave you feeling intense and scattered. So think before you speak. Unexpected news and events can increase anxiety at this time. Mercury retrograde can make it harder for you to perform mental tasks that require patience. Mercury opposite Uranus can make this even more challenging because of low attention span and a tendency to be distracted. The other positive aspect of this lunation is that it is conjunct the brightest fixed star called Spica. Spica is at 23 degrees of Libra. This bright star is capable of giving you success, riches. It is a spiritual psychic star. It can bring fame and honor and good fortune. So we are very lucky to have this lunation exactly conjunct this star. So despite all the other negative aspects of this new moon, we can look forward to the conjunction of Spica at this time to bring us some really favorable results. Things that you've been working on for a while and didn't expect any of those things to come true. This lunationing happening on this super bright and lucky star could just make your dreams come true. The other magical and positive aspect that is still in play in this lunation is Jupiter sextiling Neptune. This is another rare, beautiful aspect that happens every 4 to 9 years. So this aspect happening during the week of the new moon also brings a magical touch to this new moon. Every time this aspect comes into perfection, it's going to bring you something that you've been working on. Jupiter is, after all, the planet that is Jupiter is the planet of blessings, and Neptune is the planet of the gods. Them sextiling at this moment for the last time this year, this is bound to bring something to fruition. Jupiter and Neptune are outer planets. So whatever it is that is going to come to fruition is something that you probably worked for or something that you earned in a past life. It is going to be a karmic blessing. So look to the houses where Jupiter and Neptune rule. These are the houses where you might see something come to fruition. Neptune rules the sign of Pisces and Jupiter rules the sign of Sagittarians. So these are the two lucky signs that are going to see something really beautiful happen in their life. Despite all the shit show that's going on with the Capricorn stellium and opposition and squares from the moon, let's do a quick review. Let's look at when the last time Neptune and Jupiter sextiled this year. The first one occurred on February 20th, 2020. The second one was on July 27, 2020. So go back and review, see what happened on those dates and see what it is that's going to come to fruition in those houses. Because this is the last time this aspect is perfecting for a few years. So it's time to manifest from our old dreams, make our old dreams into reality or revise them and amend them. So the new moon is opposite Mars. This creates irritability, hostility, jealousy, aggression, impulsiveness, and sexual tension. It makes you more willful, assertive, and competitive in achieving your strongest desires. New moon square Saturn. This presents tests and challenges that make it harder to get your own way and reach your goals. Delays, restrictions, deadlines, criticism, and extra responsibilities may damage your self-confidence and leave you feeling weighed down, pessimistic, or depressed. Moon square Saturn is a typical depressive aspect, so get some help if you need help. Moon square Pluto. This increases the need for you to be in control, but it can also lead to ego conflicts with powerful people or authority type figures. A crisis or conflict will feel intense and could lead to obsessions, possessiveness, or other extreme behavior. Mars square Pluto. This intensifies your passionate desires and your need to be in control. A ruthless quest for power and success can make others feel threatened and lead to power struggles and aggressive reaction. Or others may want to dominate or control you. Moon sextile Mercury. This reduces the risk of saying the wrong thing because this gives you good intuition. It also reduces the risk of arguments because it encourages cooperation. Mercury sextile Venus. This is another very sociable influence because it helps you express love and affection. Unlike Moon sextile Mercury, it also reduces anxiety and tension because of Mercury opposite Uranus. This helps you relax and enjoy more harmony and bonding in closer relationships. So as you can see, there's a lot to deal with at this new moon. Fortunately, this is more like the grand finale of all the conflicts and oppositions and squares that we've been receiving in the Capricorn stellium. So essentially the shit show is about to be over. So there is hope after all. And when the sun moves into Scorpio, things are going to feel a lot lighter. We will all be relieved to be away from the squares and oppositions to this stellium. If you are a Libra or a Taurus, you're ruled by Venus, and this moon being in Libra and Venus being the ruling planet, you are going to feel this new moon a bit more intense than the other signs. If you were born on or around the 16th of October, you're going to have supercharged energy in your solar year. This is going to be a year of brand new beginnings, although there will be some challenges and some decisions will have to be made. So look to all the other positive aspects of this new moon to find out where you can have some positive action. There will be a lot of decisions made in your solar year, and some relationships may end. Fortunately for some people, depending on how this aspects your natal chart, you could have brand new beginnings, possibly even a marriage. In Vedic astrology, if you're going through a Venus Mahadasha, at this point your Venus has been activated. So perhaps very soon you'll start to see some results from the promise of your Mahadasha. And in Hellenistic astrology, if Venus is your loi, meaning Venus is the lord of the year, your Venus has just got activated. So expect to see some results from this Venus, especially at this new moon. If you have any planet at 24 degrees of Libra, this means that this planet is very special because it's conjunct one of the brightest fixed stars, Spica. This is a very fortunate conjunction. So whatever is promised between this planet and Spica, this is the time you may see a result from this activation. This star is currently square the Capricorn stellium. Squares make things happen. Fortunately with this square and the moon being conjunct this point, whatever happens is going to be something good. We also have to keep in mind that the stellium in Capricorn, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn are all outer planets. Outer planets take a long time to orbit the Earth. So, therefore, whatever it is they're bringing, it is something that you've earned from a past life. These are karmic blessings, and this square to Spica with the new moon is an activation point. So expect to see the blessings of Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto begin to deliver. So expect to see some good results from these three planets. The other thing we have to keep in mind, though, is that Mars is squaring Jupiter, and Jupiter is a fire planet and Mars is a fire planet as well. The last time these two squared, there was an explosion or something like that in the Middle East, I believe. So Jupiter tends to so just remember that Jupiter tends to expand whatever it touches. If you're new to my channel and have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, It's right below this video, the red button. It's not a commitment. If you're new to my channel and have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, It's right below this video, the red button. It's not a commitment. Aries ascendant, sun or moon. This new moon is happening in your 7th house of Libra. The 7th house rules over our committed relationships, our partnerships, and our marriage. It is also the house of our known enemies. Your ruling planet Mars is transiting your sign. Mars is currently retrograde and is not as powerful as he can be if he was transiting direct. This lunation is very powerful. Mars, your ruling planet, is opposing this lunation. So you are probably bringing back past issues that happened with you and your past issues that happened in your partnerships. Your partner at this time is more powerful. Remember that this new moon is also in sextile with the North Node. Decisions that your partner makes at this time will outweigh whatever it is that you're fighting against. Unfortunately, at this time, your partner has the upper hand because they also have the backing of the fixed star Spica. This is the brightest fixed star in the zodiac, so all lights are on your partner at this time. Mercury is going retrograde in your 8th house. This is another relationship house and a money house. Don't be surprised if a bill from the past resurfaces at this time and is due for payment. Or perhaps it is time for you to complete your taxes. The 8th house is where we keep things hidden. So unfortunately for some people, Mercury might go in the past and bring up some of your secrets or your hidden fears. An intimate relationship from the past could resurface at this time also. Fortunately, Scorpio is also ruled by Mars, so you have wisdom at this time. You can rely on yourself to make a better judgment if you want to go back to this relationship or not. This is also where Spica is going to bring you some unexpected blessings. So you may experience some conflict and arguments in your marriage or in your partnerships. However, this is also the time that you could try and negotiate things. This is the time that there could be a new beginning in your relationships, a new beginning that's going to bring peace in, a new beginning that could eventually bring peace. Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Scorpio in your 8th house. This is another relationship axis. This is where we make our agreements. This is where we have deep, intimate relationships. This also rules other people's money and deep, committed, intimate affairs. Taurus, ascendant, sun or moon. The new moon in Libra is happening in your 6th house. This is where you're going to see new beginnings and perhaps some endings. This is also the house where you're going to get some type of blessing or reward at this time, because this new moon in your 6th house is conjunct the brightest fixed star Spica. Spica brings wealth and preferment and good luck. It's also a very spiritual and psychic star. So if you've been out of work and you've been looking for a job, this is the time you may be lucky enough to find a new job. As a matter of fact, some people will be beginning a new job at this time. If you've had an ongoing lawsuit, this is also the time that this lawsuit might be resolved in your favor. Whatever it is that you've been wishing for in your 6th house, whether be it a job, good health, getting along with your co-workers, Spica at this time of this full moon is here to help you. Mercury is currently going retrograde in your 7th house of Scorpio. Mercury retrograde in a partnership house is definitely going to bring you back to your past relationships, your lovers, or your previous commitments, or you may bump into an ex or get a call from an ex. Venus, your ruling planet, is currently transiting the sign of Virgo. She's very discerning in the sign of Virgo. She's very critical and looks at all the facts. So if indeed a lover does come back, you are going to make a wise decision. You're not going to be as gullible and just fall for anything they have to say. Not this time. Your ruling planet is also involved in a grand trine with Uranus, who's transiting your sign, and with the Capricorn stellium. So whatever is brought back, and if you're going to make a decision on it, it's going to be a permanent decision. Whatever the result is, this is going to be something that's going to stick around for a very long time. Gemini, ascendant, sun or moon. The new moon in Libra is happening in your 5th house. This is where you're going to have new beginnings and perhaps some endings. Spica is also exactly conjunct this new moon. So Spica is going to bring some type of blessing at this lunation. The fixed star Spica also has influence over artists and musicians and psychics. Perhaps at this time you're going to begin a new creative project. It's very likely that you start something brand new with your children at this time. Some people could begin a romantic relationship at this time. Spica is a lucky star and it's square the Capricorn stellium. So if you've been trying to start your own business or make a creation that is your own, this is the time that you may have this blessing. Something may be brought to fruition because of this new moon being conjunct this very fortunate star. So some dream of yours is definitely going to come true at this time. Mercury is going retrograde in your 6th house. This is the area where you're going to have confusions, miscommunications. This is the area that rules over your work, your co-workers, your known enemies, your everyday routine. So don't be surprised if you're called back to work to redo a project that you were working on. Perhaps you have to revise some paperwork or make some amendments. For some people, an old argument that you may have had with your co-workers could be revived at this time. It could be time for you to clear the air. Your ruling planet is in a sextile to Venus. This could be very helpful in smoothing over things with your co-workers or smoothing things over in your day-to-day routine. Mercury sextile Venus could make you charming and be able to communicate very clearly. Mercury sextile Venus is a harmonious aspect. This is a time for you to be charming and make negotiations where you can. Your ruling planet going retrograde in the 6th house, this is a favorable time for you to go and look for employment. This is a favorable time for you to look back where you may have applied for a job. If you go back, it's very likely, if you reapply, it's very likely that you'll get accepted at this time. Cancer ascendant, sun or moon. The new moon is happening in Libra, which is your 4th house. This is where you're going to have new beginnings and perhaps some endings. This new moon is conjunct the brightest star Spica, the brightest fixed star Spica. This star is going to bring something really lovely to your home environment. The moon, which rules your sign, is involved in this lunation and it's conjunct this bright star Spica. This conjunction is going to make this lunation a bit more bearable for you, Cancer. You've been through a lot. If you've had a very deep desire concerning where you live, precisely your home, your family, and especially your mother, this is the time that you'll be able to fulfill this desire. And yes, there's a lot going on with the squares and oppositions at this time, but we are only going to focus on what's going to happen in the 4th house. So if you've been looking to move houses or begin your life in a foreign country, at this time, a lucky opportunity might be presented to you. Mercury is going retrograde in Scorpio, your 5th house. This is where you're going to have miscommunications or having to redo certain things. And those certain things might involve your children or a romantic relationship. Mercury going retrograde in the 5th house will definitely bring back past relationships. So you may have to re-examine your past relationships. Are these relationships that you want to hold on to, or are these relationships that you want to bring closure to? Scorpio is an intense sign, so there might be some intensity and perhaps some arguments with old lovers at this time. Leo ascendant, sun or moon. This new moon in Libra is happening in your 3rd house. This is where you're going to have new beginnings and perhaps some endings. This new moon is conjunct the brightest star Spica, so do expect some blessings on some long-held wishes. The sun rules your sign and is involved in this lunation and is in trine with the North Node and sextile the South Node. So this lunation is actually going to be very positive for you, Leo, because this is definitely pushing you into the direction that you're supposed to go in this lifetime. The 3rd house rules over communication, our immediate environment, our neighbors, and our siblings. So expect new beginnings with these. So expect new beginnings in this area. So if you've not been getting along with your neighbors or your siblings, this will be a perfect time for you to This would be a perfect time for you to restart this relationship and go in a new direction. If you've been wanting to start a new creative project or perhaps learn something new, this would be a perfect time for you to begin those studies or perhaps begin writing a book. Let's not forget that Spica is trine the North Node and sextile the South Node. This is very, very positive. Something that was meant to be and something that was meant to be or happen for you is being highlighted at this time. Open your eyes, listen to all communications that's coming through. There might be something in those, there might be a strong message in those communications. Mercury is going retrograde in Scorpio, your 4th house. This is going to be very intense. Scorpio is a very intense sign. So it might bring up inner deep hidden insecurities that you may have. It could also bring up issues that you may have had with your family or hidden issues that involve family, especially hidden issues with your mother. So watch out for miscommunication with these people in your home area. Virgo ascendant, sun or moon. New moon is happening in Libra, your 2nd house. This is where you're going to expect new beginnings and perhaps some endings. This new moon is conjunct Spica, the brightest fixed star in the zodiac. This is a very fortunate star and could make you wealthy. It is in your 2nd house, the house of what you do to earn a living. So it's very likely that you could get a windfall at this time or have some brand new beginnings in how you earn your money. This brand new beginning is going to bring blessings in your house of earned money. Mercury is your ruling planet and is currently going retrograde in Scorpio at this time. But since that's your ruling planet, you have the upper hand and you can choose exactly how you want to use this energy. Mercury, your ruling planet, is sextile the moon and is also sextile Venus at this time. So this gives you an advantage. Venus is also conjunct your ascendant at this time, which puts you in a powerful position because Venus is the ruling planet of this lunation. Let's also remember that Venus is involved in a loose grand earth trine with the Capricorn stellium and with Uranus in Taurus at this time. There is a grand earth trine. This grand earth trine is definitely going to bring something solid and gainful in your 2nd house. Mercury retrograde in your 3rd house could bring up past issues between your siblings and your neighbors, issues of transportation and communication, or perhaps it's going to bring some type of malfunction with your phone or computer at this time. So make sure to back up whatever information that you have to back up at this time. Libra ascendant, sun or moon. The new moon is happening in your sign. This new moon conjunct your ascendant is also conjunct the brightest fixed star, Spica. And this is the area where you're going to have brand new beginnings or endings. This new moon is all about you, Libra. This is a time for you to make brand new beginnings that concern you. Perhaps you'd like to change something about the way others see you. Perhaps some people may change their name at this time or something about their body. This is a perfect time for you to begin that new diet or take your life in a totally brand new direction. Since this new moon is conjunct the ascendant, you have the power to make new beginnings in almost any area in your life at this time. Libra and all the other cardinal signs have been through a lot, and currently you are having an opposition from Mars on your descendant at this time. Fortunately, this time around, Libra is more powerful because they have this new moon in their sign, and it is conjunct a powerful fixed star, Spica, which is making you very lucky, and all eyes are on you at this time. All the lights are pointing to you, Libra. So this is a perfect time to begin something really substantial in your life. Your ruling planet Venus is currently transiting Virgo and is involved in a loose grand trine with the Capricorn stellium and with Taurus and with Uranus, who is currently transiting Taurus. This is another area where you have the power to make something happen in those 3 houses. Perhaps this is a time you can sit down with your partner and make some compromises or negotiations in that partnership area. Mercury is currently transiting the sign of Scorpio, which rules over your second house, and is currently retrograde at this time. Unfortunately, Mercury might bring up some past issues that you may have had at your job, or something to do with how you earn your living. Since this house also rules over the things that we love and value, it's very likely that you have something of that sort come back from the past. It's also very likely that a bill resurfaces at this time and may need to be settled. Overall, this new moon is very favorable for you, Libra, and if you were born around the 16th of October, you're going to have a year to remember. This will be a year of a lot of brand new beginnings, brand new partnerships. Unfortunately, some partnerships may have to come to an end at this time. Scorpio ascendant, sun or moon. The new moon is happening in Libra, which is your 12th house. This is where you're going to have brand new beginnings or endings for some. This new moon is conjunct the brightest fixed star Spica in your 12th house. The 12th house rules over our hidden enemies, our self-sabotaging habits, our past karma, and foreign lands. A new moon in the 12th house could highlight all your hidden issues. It may bring a brand new perspective on how you choose to deal with your hidden issues or your hidden enemies. The conjunction of Spica at this time could make you very psychic. You may receive some hidden messages through your dreams or some psychic intuition. Spica being conjunct this lunation could help you smooth things over with your hidden enemies, who may reveal themselves at this time. If you've been wanting to travel to a very far away country, this is the time that you may be able to make this journey. New moon and Spica are supporting you at this time. This is also a wonderful time for you to begin meditating or to begin some type of self-healing. This new moon is going to be very revealing and intense, and perhaps very fortunate for you. Your ruling planet Mars is unfortunately opposing this lunation. Planet Mars is involved in this new moon. It is opposing this new moon. You could face some oppositions from people in foreign lands or your hidden enemies at this time. Mars is usually very powerful when he transits the 6th house. Unfortunately, he's also moving retrograde at this time and is in opposition with the sun and the moon, and they are conjunct Spica. So this might be a tough lunation if you're not willing to make compromises. This is the perfect time for you to restart relationships in these areas. This is the perfect time for you to change your daily habits and perhaps get some healing. A new moon in the 12th house is going to uncover some subconscious issues, things that you want to keep hidden. Unfortunately, at this time, this lunation is going to highlight things there. You may have to finally deal with these hidden issues. It's a perfect time for you to get some healing for your issues or begin a spiritual journey at this time. Mercury going retrograde in your sign is going to make you rethink some of the choices you made in the past. This is the time to redo or restart certain projects. This is also a perfect time to revise your daily routine or restart a diet. Overall, this is a positive new moon for you, Scorpio. This is a time for you to revise agreements and arrangements, and it's very likely that they work out to your liking, because Mercury is actually involved in a sextile to the new moon and to Venus, which is very positive. Sagittarius ascendant, sun or moon. The new moon in Libra is happening in your 11th house. This is the area where you're going to have new beginnings and perhaps some endings. A new moon in the 11th house is usually very fortunate, as the 11th house is the house where we receive our rewards and our gains from the work that we did in the 10th house. And this new moon being conjunct the brightest fixed star Spica, expect to see some rewards. Your ruling planet Jupiter is involved in a loose grand earth trine with Venus in Virgo and Uranus in Taurus. So this is bound to bring something very solid, something that's going to last in those houses. However, Jupiter is square Mars, which is also opposing this new moon. There is some friction there. This new moon is also sextile the North Node, which is a very supportive aspect. So my feeling is there will be some challenges, but ultimately this new moon is going to bring out wonderful results for you, Sagittarius. Spica in your 11th house being highlighted by a new moon is a very, very positive aspect. Spica is the brightest fixed star and it brings wealth and honor. So expect something really big to begin with your friends or your dreams and wishes at this time. Something in the groups that you belong to may also have a brand new beginning at this time. Mercury is currently transiting Scorpio in your 12th house and is going retrograde at this time. Mercury in the 12th house, the house that rules our subconscious, our hidden issues, and our self-sabotaging habits, and also faraway foreign lands. Mercury could bring up issues from the past regarding these areas. Perhaps there's something in your subconscious that will be revealed. Perhaps something in your subconscious will be revealed to you at this time, and you may have to finally deal with it. Mercury can also bring up miscommunications and misunderstandings in this area. So perhaps some issues that you've been keeping hidden to yourself will be revealed at this time, and it's time to finally deal with them, revise them, redo, or rethink how you handle issues in your 12th house area. So perhaps your self-sabotaging habits will be highlighted at this time, or some things that you do in the privacy of your home. And unfortunately, Mercury retrograde in the 12th house could very likely bring up a hidden enemy. Capricorn, ascendant, sun or moon. The new moon in Libra is happening in your 10th house. This is where you're going to have brand new beginnings and perhaps some endings. A new moon in the 10th house is at the highest point in the zodiac. This is something that is definitely going to be seen by everyone. This new moon might have something to do with how you're seen in society, or with authority figures, or with the work or with your job. You could begin a brand new job at this time. That also means you having a new boss. Or you could change your standing in society through marriage or divorce at this time. If you've been looking for work and have been unable to find work, this new moon in your 10th house conjunct the luckiest fixed star. It's very likely that you find brand new employment at this time. It could be something that you've been looking to start. It could be a job that you've been looking to get into for a very long time. This is the time that you could surprisingly get an opening and an offering. And you could possibly get this job at this time. So keep looking. Spica is definitely going to bring some blessings in this area. And they're blessings that you've been working on or trying to achieve for a very long time. Mercury is transiting Scorpio and is going retrograde in your 11th house. This is your groups that you belong to, your friends, and your hopes and wishes. Perhaps you're going to have to rethink some relationships or the groups that you belong to. Some people may revise their goals, dreams, and wishes at this time. If things have not been working out with a friend or in a group that you belong to, Mercury retrograde is giving you an opportunity to revise and reorganize things in that area. Mercury going retrograde in the house of friendships, it's very likely that you bump into a friend that you haven't seen in a very long time. Your ruling planet Saturn, which is transiting Capricorn at this time, is involved in a loose grand earth trine with Venus in Virgo and Uranus in Taurus. So it's very likely that you have something very positive going on in these three houses. It is a loose grand earth trine, but grand earth trines make things happen that can stay in your life for a very long time. So despite all the conflicts and challenges that you've been going through, this new moon looks like it's the grand finale. There will be conflicts, there will be oppositions, but this is an opportunity for you to settle and renegotiate your relationships at work, at home, and with others. Aquarius, ascendant, sun or moon. The new moon is happening in your 9th house. This is where you're going to experience brand new beginnings and perhaps some endings. The 9th house rules over higher education, foreign lands, justice system, and our higher belief system. Spica is conjunct this new moon. This is a very fortunate aspect. Spica is the brightest fixed star in the zodiac, and being conjunct this new moon in the ninth house, which is naturally a lucky house, something that you've been working on or trying to achieve or begin is going to happen for you at this time. Something that you're planning for, a long-range plan, something in your future is going to take off at this time. So perhaps if you've been waiting for a green card or some important documents, this might be the time that you get your green card, get the necessary paperwork that you need for a long-range project that you've been working for, and you might begin. This is the time you might have this is the time that you might have a new fortunate beginning in a foreign land. For some people, this is the time they could get lucky and get accepted at a college that they've been wishing to get into for a very long time. Of some type of blessing is going to come out of this new moon. Mercury is currently transiting Scorpio, your 10th house. This is where you're going to have miscommunications and mishaps. Your 10th house is the highest point in the natural zodiac. This rules over our bosses, authority figures, the government, and our job. So perhaps you're going to have to redo some work in this area. Past miscommunications with your boss or authority figures may resurface at this time and has to be dealt with. Mercury retrograde in your 10th house is a perfect time for you to go over places that you had applied for work before and were not accepted. When Mercury retrogrades here, it's a perfect time to go back to those old applications and reapply. This is the time that you could possibly get accepted. Yes, you could get new employment during a Mercury retrograde. This is most likely to happen with a job that you had applied to previously. Your ruling planet Uranus is involved in a loose grand earth trine with Venus transiting Virgo and with your other ruling planet transiting his other house of Capricorn. This is a loose grand earth trine. However, it is very likely that you make something really positive and solid happen in these three houses. So this lunation is actually quite positive for you, Aquarius. Make sure to negotiate where you can. Revise and redo what you can with your 10th house area, your work area. And try to negotiate where you can. Revise what needs to be revised. Redo whatever needs to be redone. Watch your communications, back up all your work. This lunation could bring something really lucky and solid in your 9th house. Pisces ascendant, sun or moon. This new moon is happening in Libra, your 8th house. This is where you're going to have new beginnings and perhaps some endings. This new moon is conjunct the brightest fixed star, Spica, making this new moon very, very fortunate. Your ruling planet Neptune is currently transiting your sign, and your other ruling planet Jupiter is transiting Capricorn, and they are involved in a sextile. This is a magical sextile. This new moon event is very positive for you, Pisces. If there's something that you've been dreaming and hoping to accomplish for the past few years, this is the time that you may realize this goal. You are definitely one of the lucky signs during this lunation. Your ruling planet Jupiter in Capricorn is also involved in a loose grand earth trine with Venus, who's currently transiting in Virgo, and Uranus, who's transiting in Taurus. So this is another area of blessing. Something very solid and tangible is bound to happen in these three houses. So you've got a few highlights here where you have a touch of blessing wherever you look. Unfortunately, all the oppositions and the squares in your Capricorn houses and in your Aries house and your Libra house have been ongoing. This is kind of background noise. You'll be probably too happy to notice or pay attention to what's going on in these houses. That doesn't mean nothing's going to go on, but there are just so many other positive things happening for you at this time, for you to worry about old troubles and old news. So the 8th house rules over other people's money, inheritances, intimate relationships. This is where we connect deeply with another. This is where we merge. So for some of you, this would be a so for some of you, there might be a new beginning in an intimate relationship. You may take an ongoing relationship in a totally brand new direction. Since this lunation has a powerful conjunction to this lucky star, some of you may receive an inheritance at this time, or have access to other people's money in some shape or form. Something good is going to happen for you in this area. Mercury is currently retrograde in Scorpio. That is your ninth house. So this is where you're going to experience miscommunications, confusions, and intensity. Ninth house rules over the justice system, our higher education, foreign lands, and our higher belief system. If you have an ongoing legal issue that has not yet been settled, this is the time that there will be intensity regarding this issue. This is the time that you may experience some confusion or miscommunication in this area. If you are traveling in a foreign land, make sure you have your tickets, travel time, and you have enough time for your travel. You might have some miscommunications with your travel plans. So make sure that you have all the documents that you may need. Make sure you have your passport. Make sure you have your passport, your tickets, and everything that you're going to need for this journey. Mercury retrograde in the ninth house is known to bring miscommunications and problems in this area. So if you are traveling in a foreign land, make sure you don't get into arguments or miscommunications with foreigners.